Morning folks. So right now I'm in a bit of a kind of a 50-50 split. What are we? We're like a couple of weeks away from the park reopening, and part of me is thinking, oh my god, I'm working 3 jobs, I work 7 days a week. When I get home at 5 o'clock when everybody else is putting their feet up, because I've just had a new kitchen delivered, I'm fitting this new kitchen until like 10 o'clock at night. How at 43 years of age have I possibly got the time or the energy to be able to do what I need to do? Then the other half of me is like, oh, it's alright man, you've got a list of jobs that you need to do, providing nothing kind of jumps up out of the blue to affect you doing that and completing that list. Everything's going to be tickety-boo. So currently I'm trying to concentrate on that side of me. You know, hey, at the end of the day, I'm doing what I love to do. I'm trail building, I'm sorting out my bike park, it's all good. But yeah, there is a side of it that is pretty stressful, and long hours. But hey, the other side of it is I did get a weekend off and a weekend away with my wife, so that's kind of recharged the batteries a bit and has certainly helped. So yeah, it's all about just concentrating on the task ahead. I've got a list of things, complete the list, everything will be fine. Right now it's 9:10 on a Thursday morning, and I figured my day would be 10% cooler if it was fueled by a Cornish pasty from Lazenby shop. The reality is my days are actually fueled by caffeine, but someone's got to keep me going. Anyway, we ain't going to get any trail building done here at Lazenby Co-op, so we better make a move. At the top of my list is to go back and trim up all of the low hanging branches across 2 sections of the track that somehow I missed when I was first doing it. I don't know, maybe I was having a brain fart. Top and the bottom of it is a really long track, so I'm just going to go back and catch them. First I've got to do a little bit of maintenance on the saw, and then we can get those trimmed off and open it all out. It's not getting branches to the face and stuff. I've just walked up the track, and there's a couple of the areas where you're kind of like, I don't know how or why I managed to miss them because they're kind of super obvious. Brain fart probably. But there's also a couple of bits that are just like, well, that's a surprise. For example, this, that has just decided to give up, fall down and lay down, and I suppose we've just got to deal with them. There's another one over there that's just kind of, that's halfway down, is only hung up by a tree, so we'll cut those out and tidy it up. Right, well, I've run out of 2-stroke, which isn't exactly ideal, but at the same time it's 3:30, 4:45 in the afternoon, so it's not too bad. I've cut my way through. You can probably see all the brash on the floor. It's all going to need to move to the side, and I've got myself down to this area in here, which doesn't look like much now, but in between those 2 trees is where the finish line's going. If I stand you this way, you might be able to see through into the field. That is at the very northern end of the park, so we start way up at the far south end and bring you all the way down to the finish line at the very north end. It's the full entire length of the park at just over 1200 meters, just over a kilometre anyway. But yeah, there's still a little bit of time left in the day, so I've just got to decide. I either clean up some brash or I'll walk up and decide what tomorrow's first job's going to be. That's probably what's looking like the thing to do. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the morning. Oh, it's Friday, and we might have just run into some crappy weather. The main thing about that is this track doesn't give a shit whether the weather's crappy or not. It still needs to get done. So today I'm going to I had a little bit of think about this last night. I had a really good meeting with Simon last night and went over the Route Down website. It's a little bit too soon to show you guys that, but we've had kind of a, well, I've had a kind of a under the hood look at it. Simon's explained how it works and what it's gonna be, so we'll look forward to showing you that shortly. and it will have a page on there for GNAR as well. I've not had a website presence before, so there will be kind of like a, I don't know, like a frequently asked questions page on there. I don't know. It's going to be on that Route Down website, and I'll figure out what we're going to do about it, but it'll try and be a one-stop shop to answer some of your questions. Anyway, last night I was thinking about all that. This needs some more dirt on it, by the way, as well, doesn't it? But we did mention that last night. So I was thinking about all this, and I thought, well, today I'm just going to head up the top and kind of start from the top, just work it on down to the bottom, and then at least we can get this thing tested. At like 1100 meters long, doing roughly 2 meters wide, that's 2,200 meters of raking, give or take. However much of brash and log removal, kind of feels like a big job, but I'm hoping that that's exactly what it is. It just feels like a big job. I mean, starting from this start ramp up here, to kind of give you an idea, because you can see this from the road, this is the communications tower up here. That stone monolith, obelisk, whatever you want to call it, is the peak, the top of Great Barrack Fell, and we're going to head all the way down to the north end, down to the very bottom of it. So yeah, it feels like a lot to do, and I'm hoping that I'm going to get to the bottom in a few days time and be like, ah yeah man, wasn't that bad. But got to start somewhere. Might as well start right up here at the top. How I've got things working at the moment is I've got the big BTR rake, and that kind of is going in first, just to kind of give this effect, which is, I don't know what that's called, but it just kind of removes all of this top layer of crap that you just don't really want to ride over. And then I'm coming back with a smaller, finer garden rake as such, and with that I'm just getting a bit more of a kind of a raked in loam effect. And then all we really need from there is to just let the tyres hit the floor. We're in what I call the tech section right now, and I've had to put like a little catch berm in there, just because, well, purely because it is, although it's supposed to be tech, that bit would have been quite tricky. Down into here, just got a fresh rake out, just need our tyres through it. There's a kind of a roller section, and it'll come down into a slight kick out before we head over and down the rest. So that's the top tech section done. What we've got down at the rest of the way here, it's where it starts to speed up. It's not going to need as much work, and it's going to be a lot more straightforward. Certainly when we hit the bike park section, because we've already done that and we've tested it, so it's already rolling. And I've had an audience all afternoon of these guys. How's it going? They don't say much. And tomorrow Simon should be with us, but it's starting to get a little bit dark now. Excuse you. It's starting to get a little bit dark now, and it's raining, so I'm going to call it a day, and I'll catch up with you along. I'm tired. Me and Simon will be here tomorrow. Morning folks. So yesterday we got as far as this section in here. Simon's just with us. Today he's removing a route that is pretty much right in the middle of the line. The mission for today is to just essentially continue this. We're about to cut over a bit of a lip into a new gradient for this section of track, and it's where you'll essentially let the brakes off. By this point you've done most of the technical aspect of the track, and we'll just head you down towards the bike park section. As I say, it's kind of a lot quicker, a lot more free flowing as we get over this lip. If to describe to anybody who's been here before, the kind of gradient seems to tip over roughly at the beginning of the Electric Landlady track, or level with the Electric Landlady track. So the idea for us today is to just kind of blast on, get through, remove, there's probably quite a lot of brash to remove, get that stuff out of the way, and get ourselves down and over the bank, see how we get on. We're quite a bit further down now, come through some of these S-bend corners, and this is really the kind of area. What are we level with? We're just below GAP and getting down level with what's that one, Gasoline Alley now. So this is kind of the high speed stuff before you start to enter into the bike parky feature laden section. We've got a bit that we're just about to sort out now that is essentially, if I just show you down the side of it, you can kind of see, if I point you down through, you can kind of see where it's going to head down to. There's a lot of brash removal to do on this section. It's not going to need an amazing amount of raking, just this kind of taking off the top surface, and then the tyres will do the rest for us. But yeah, we're not actually that far away from the section that starts with the bike park stuff now, so we'll crack on and try and get there. And so ends today's portion of the video at the Cumbria. Cheeky pint. Right, new day. So back at the start of this vlog, I was a bit like, man, I've got so much stuff to fit in, I don't know if I can even manage it. Or I was kind of confident I could manage it, but I was a bit like, how am I going to do it? But now that I've had a few days to knock some stuff out, I mean, we've got some sections of that track done that I thought were going to take a lot longer. Only taking a couple of days. I'll get up there today and do some more work on it, and we're going to be pretty close. Certainly down into where the bike park section starts, which after that there's like a little bit of extra dirt to put on the jumps, and then to sort out around the finish line area, so it's not a hideous job. That's only going to leave sorting out the rest of the tracks. I mean, they've got they don't need much doing, a little bit of raking, they've got some wind-blown branches come down on them and stuff, and just sort all that out. And the worst of it is the tape's blown around in the winds as well, so just got to fix up the tape, tidy up the cabin, have a bit of a clean up of the road of the drive-in, and then we'll pretty much tick at your boot. So today I'm feeling a lot more confident about it. My goal for this weekend was to get down to where the kind of bike park section starts. Honestly, tired arms and shoulders, back. Simon's not with me today because he has kind of pulled all the muscles in his back, and it's going to mean that if he keeps going, and he came and did today as well, he might not be able to ride and do the testing part of it, so it's not a good idea for him to be here. This is going to be like it's going to end up riding in as like a mogul-y section, a bump, and there's going to be opportunities to pump through it. What I want to do though is, let me just turn you around. What I'd like to do is get you down into this section. We've got a couple of these. This is, well, I don't know what these are, but they should make into natural whoops. Then a little bit further down, Simon managed to get the worst off of some of this yesterday, but a little bit further down the track here, and we find ourselves, we've got another set of what could be natural whoops. So these need to be shaped in as well. Give you a side look on. And then we start to hit into the bike park section. Now the good news is this bike park section has already been kind of rubbed in, and well, up to about this point we've tested most of it. This one hasn't been tested yet, the camel humps, but from there on in there's some bits of brash and that I need to move, but it's a pretty good run from there on in, and it's quite a goal to get down and get into that, so that's what I'm aiming for today. The only difficulty is it's kind of slow going because Jesus, I ache all over, I'm tired. I can make all the excuses that I want, but frankly I've just got to get on and do it. What we've got here is the first of the two mogul problems. I don't know if there's tree stumps underneath there or what, but you know, we're gonna have to investigate to find out. The problem is they're just not quite in the right area, frankly. So the way I figure it is, you've got this narrow tree corridor to hit, way more than bar's width, but you'll be coming at speed from all the way from the top, but you'll be coming at speed. And what I've done is I've laid these rakes down because I think that the line between these two rakes is actually where the two moguls need to be. The front one is just slightly too far left, the back one is way too far left, so I think the only thing to do is, much as it's not an easy thing to do, I think the only thing to do is to actually physically move them over. The way forwards on these two was to just knock them down a bit, move them around a bit and turn them into a set of whoops. It was kind of like the only thing that made sense with the weird moguls that were there. Essentially that stuff was semi-unrideable and now it's totally rideable, so that's the key, I suppose. The next part is like the bigger versions of, and there's quite a hollow down in there. Yeah, these might just get knocked as flat as possible. Right, well, it turns out that this one, the front one, has like a massive root thing from this tree, so the idea of just making it flat is now out the question. Time for plan B. So what we had was a couple of moguls here that were just in a bad spot, and what we've now got is a bit of a step. I mean it's tiny, but there's a slight catch just to keep you away from that tree. It's kind of a case of just making the unrideable rideable again. Frankly, it was stuff that was in the way. All I've got to deal with now is these two kind of weird patches and a little bit of raking. I'll have achieved my goal of meeting from the very top and linking up with the bike park section. Goal achieved. We've got from all the way up at the very top, right the way down to here at the start of the bike park section. Almost ready to ride it in now. I'm pretty pleased with that. It's what I was after for these last few days. Tomorrow's the start of a new week. I wish it was a reset for my shoulders and my arms. They ache and I'm tired and my back, but hey, all I need to do now is get a little bit further down there done and sorted, and we're laughing. And the most important thing, can actually start and have some fun with it then. Excuse me. I can get on the bike, put some tyres on it and try it out. Now, what's left to do is, after this kind of S-Express here, there's a little bit that I'd forgotten to do. I'd forgotten to trim the branches off. Oh, I think that might even feature way back at the start of this video. But I've got to tidy that area up, pull a bit of the brash to one side, and have a little bit of a rake through. There's nothing to really shape in there, it's just to clear up and rake. And then I've got the section around the start area, and then back up to the cabin. Well, actually back up to the cabin is where I ran out of two-stroke, so I need to come back and cut that through. But for that track, that's kind of, prior to actually getting on the bike and giving it a test, that's kind of it. I do have a little bit of work that I've mentioned about earlier in the rest of the park, but it's no biggie, and it's all going to get done and sorted before my reopening on the 6th of April. So the thing that I'd like to get out of this on the testing is some head cam footage for you guys, so that you can have a look at top to bottom run of the track, and maybe even go into a little bit more detail on some of the areas that are rollable. I know that on previous like snippets and test videos that I've released, it's just been me and Simon, I suppose, jumping over them, which is cool, you know. And if that's your bag, that's what you like to do, then you know it's available. But I just want to show the people that are thinking, yeah dude, okay, jumping it is something that I'll have a go at, but at first I'd just like to roll through them. So yeah, I suppose I kind of want to show that on video as well somehow. But a head cam, I feel like a head cam is important because it gives you a little bit of a look and gives you an idea of what the track's like and how it's running. You know, it's GoPro, so it doesn't give you the most amazing angle or version of, but hey, it's better than nothing. Anyway, what I'm doing now is thinking out loud rather than closing up this vlog. Get home, edit this, have some tea, fit a kitchen, or continue fitting a kitchen, and then back at it again tomorrow. So as I say, yeah, start of a new week, and hopefully I'm feeling a bit fresher. Anyway, I'm tired and I can feel myself rambling, so I'm going to knock it on the head and go. See you in a bit, folks. Ta-ra.